Hello everyone, Miklos Vespremi here, coming to you from Rapperswil, Switzerland. You know what really annoys me about almost every single video that preaches self-improvement, productivity, making money, getting better sleep, getting in shape, basically anything to get you from where you are now to some better point in the future. They all forget to tell you one thing. All these productivity gurus have one thing in common. And it is the thing that makes all their tips and tricks, all their habits and hacks make sense in the first place. There's something they're not telling you. I won't name names, but you may have heard of them. They all have millions of views and keep uploading video after video with clickbaity titles. Almost always they preach some 7 or so step path to solving all your challenges, whether it is how to get into super shape, how to appear more confident, how to speak articulately, etc. They often are very successful financially as well by regularly producing addictively entertaining content to make you feel like you're a little bit closer to your goal. They monetize their videos and amass fortunes. Their every gesture exudes confidence. How can you not believe them and follow their advice? I must admit, some of them are truly fantastic and the inspiration for starting this channel. In fact, until I perfect my own craft, I will simply emulate the masters. But there's one thing they're not telling you. Purpose. Purpose before productivity. Purpose is the one thing that everything else falls in line behind. So imagine you have purpose, crystal clear in your mind. It is the solution to your greatest challenge. As you progress on the path, you will get recurring hits of dopamine every time that you get a little bit fitter, more attractive, richer, more successful, you name it. All the while the prize gets bigger and bigger, and you get closer and closer. You see the straight path to it in front of you. But then stuff gets thrown at you. You get distractions. Demons appear from all over the place. There are inconveniences to deal with, like sleep or energy levels or people you have to deal with or people you have to get on board with or, God forbid, people you have to sell something to. In short, the damn reality of existence. Your straight path, however, is no longer quite straight. So what do? Well, of course, you chart a 7 or so step path to achieving that goal. You talk about the 6 things you must do today to fill in the blanks. Or the 12 things that I wish I knew when I was fill in the blanks. Or the 3 habits that made me a super successful fill in the blanks. You upload it onto YouTube, get 100 million views, and voila, you've catapulted yourself even closer to your goal. Isn't this self-fulfilling prophecy neat? Now, jokes aside, the point is that once you know what your purpose is and see the obstacles on the way, you simply chart the shortest route around them. It's a slalom, but it still is the shortest route around the given environment. So, purpose before productivity. But the question is, how do you find that purpose? For most of us mortals, it's a chicken and egg problem. Chances are that if you do not have the discipline, the habits, the tricks, the skills that all these methods preach, it will probably take you a little longer to be able to appreciate what it even means to have a purpose. Because you simply will not be disciplined enough to get around to doing it. I mean, many of us are doing a lot of these things naturally. I mean, it's just the way that you do things. They're just packaging them into nice videos. But then if you do not have the purpose, then there's a little point in beating yourself up with something that is initially quite uncomfortable, some rituals of some sort or another, to try to get there because it's just going to be frustrating. And what bothers me is that nobody's telling you that purpose must come before productivity. I'd like to use a metaphor from piano. So, every passage of music can be played with an almost infinite number of finger combinations. The one that you pick is the so-called fingering, and is unique to every pianist, every hand, and every day. If you've never heard of the term fingering, I suggest you look it up in a dictionary, not on Google. Anyway, at some point in the early 19th century, some enterprising pedagogues decided to print their favorite fingering of the day into the music scores. a practice which unfortunately continues to this very day. So when the Impressionist composer Claude Debussy published his piano Etudes in 1915, which is one of the harder pieces in the entirety of piano music, he added a foreword explaining that the lack of fingering in the score was due to the obvious fact that everybody's hand is different and that even if he put in his own preferred fingering, it would be wrong because he'll probably change his own mind the next day and it's only the best fingering for him. So, sigh. What do modern editions do? They get some random dude to put in his fingering, defacing the otherwise beautifully set score. Anyway, so here you are. You're aspiring superstar in fill in the blanks. You want to improve. You want to start following some recipes. So you do. But you struggle to emulate these masters and their success. You see the outlines of a strategy that will get you somewhere, but it just does not work. And most importantly, it does not keep you hooked because there's no dust of those sprinkles of golden warmth of dopamine every time that you scale the next wall of inconvenience and discomfort. The thing is, you're trying to play the score with someone else's fingering. Of course it's not going to work. All these guys, in fact, really do have a very strong motivating reason. It's often quite prosaic. It's money. Given their business model, millions of dollars depend on them perfecting their craft and not leaving a single improvement potential unexplored. Their 7-step method is a matter of untold riches. And ignoring a single step will knock zero off their AdSense paychecks. But just to put yourself in their shoes, tell me honestly, is there any habit that you would not do if you knew there was a 5 to 6 figure number in cash waiting for you if you just did it? So imagine a black suitcase sitting there with $50,000. All you have to do is meditate 10 minutes every single day for the next month, or do 2 more reps than you usually do, or smile a little bit more with your next customer, and then it's yours. Would you not do it? Well, of course you would do it, but that is the reality for all these creators. They are literally making that much money by making a little bit better YouTube video about the 7-step method of doing whatever. But if you were in their shoes, obviously, with the heat of such motivation, you will milk out of yourself any number of $1 million methods to make $1 million. Purpose before productivity. So, I must admit, in the past decade, I can count the instances in which I experienced such a burning heat of purpose on a single hand. I'm turning 30 in January, and during my entire 20s, I guess it was the week before I embarked on my first concert tour to China, a few intense periods writing my dissertation, the weeks just before some of my most important job interviews and applications, my contributions to some climate startups and my own, as well as, I guess, some crazy weeks during a carve-out that I was part of at EY Parthenon. I'll happily talk about some of these times and give you my 7-step method to becoming more productive. But let me say that in these periods, I had so much to do that also combined with the burning desire to reach my goal, that everything else, all its distractions just fell by the wayside. It was the most obvious thing to do. Once you realize that you have so much to do that there's no way around it and that your current method of doing things just will not get you to the goal, you simply start burning off all the chaff that gets thrown at you. Again, purpose before productivity. So if your purpose is strong and it's clear enough and your day starts getting fuller than you can handle with your current way of being, you will start to optimize everything that can be optimized, and your improvement methods will just come naturally. Did you ever realize that the busiest people are often the ones that are most efficient? Because they've developed efficient methods to deal with all the business on their plates. So, you got to finish these sort of videos with some immediately implementable message. The first step to take in the 7-step method or whatever to achieve everlasting glory. I won't give you 7 steps. I won't even give you one, but I'll say this. Purpose before productivity. You've heard it. But More importantly, realize that it is a chicken and egg problem, and whatever you're trying to improve, it will become much easier as soon as you know what you're doing it for. And once you do, you won't need to keep watching these sort of videos because you'll be improvising your own improvement methods. So that's it for me for this week. See you next week on Sunday when I will be talking about my take on the upcoming climate change conference starting next month in Dubai. But in the meantime, please do comment. I'm quite new to this medium, so any constructive criticism is very much desired. Thank you very much, and see you soon.